Hello and welcome to Nationwide. I am Olajide Bello. Remember, you can watch these broadcasts live on our website, nta.ng/live, and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Now let's start from the National Assembly, where the Senate has acknowledged the prompt response of the Ministry of Defense by dispatching a military squad to dislodge members of the Lakurawa terrorist group in parts of Sokoto and Kebbi states. It's also calling for sustained efforts by authorities to ensure that the group is not allowed to infiltrate further into other parts of the northern region. This is equal to a motion and the matters of urgent public importance from Senator Yahya Abdullahi, who urged the military to work with communities in order to come up with early warning mechanisms to forestall incursion.
Urged the Nigerian military to maintain their presence and vigilance in the affected communities to hold the activities of Lukarawa from spreading further across the region.
This is the way it starts. And if it is not nipped in the bud, it will spread terror across many parts of this country.
In another development, Senate has resolved to investigate the non-completion of the Odupani-2 highway following a motion from Senator Asuko Payong. Divergent views continue to trail the proposal to remove the Nigerian police personnel from the contributory pension scheme. At a one-day public hearing on a bill for an act to establish the Police Pension Board 2024, the Senate's Committee on Establishment and Public Service received submissions from stakeholders. National Assembly correspondent Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports.
This public hearing also seeks to give the Nigeria Police and other stakeholders opportunity to digest the bill, proposing the establishment of a police pension board and consequent exemption of the Nigeria Police from the contributory pension scheme.
We support the amendment, establishment of the bill to take us out of the contributory pension.
We are here to align ourselves with the submission that is going to be presented by the National Pension Commission.
So we do understand what the police are agitating for. They need their pensions to be higher. And most people want their pensions to be higher, but it's not leaving the scheme that is going to solve the problem.
The bank will be supporting anything that will aid financial system stability and will not be supporting anything that's on the contrary.
Members of the committee acknowledged the submission brought forward and promised to make judicious use of the recommendations in the interest of Nigerians.
Our police officers who put their lives on the line every day to protect and serve our communities. It is our duty to ensure that they are taken care of.
The committee is expected to report back to the plenary for further deliberations. From the National Assembly, Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, a bill to provide constitutional voting rights to Nigerians in diaspora has scaled second reading in the House of Representatives. The bill, sponsored by Speaker Tajuddin Abbas and Representative Sadiq Ango, seeks to alter relevant sections of the Constitution to allow Nigerians residing and outside the country to vote during the Nigerian elections without the rigors and logistics challenge of traveling to Nigeria to exercise their voting rights. In other resolutions, the House called for urgent construction of the abandoned Adupani-2 road in the South geopolitical zone.
Urge the Federal Ministry of Budgets and National Planning to ensure the inclusion of Odubani-Itu Federal Highway construction in the 2025 budget estimates. Also mandates the Committees on Public Procurements and works to investigate the abandonment of Odubani/Itu Road project, which was awarded in tranches to Julius Berger, Sematec, and CCECC in 2021.
And away from the National Assembly, the Acting Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Lufemi Oluyede, has ordered investigation to unravel the circumstances surrounding a viral video purportedly of a senior army officer and two soldiers in an altercation with a man and a woman within Abuja metropolis. A statement by the Director, Army Public Relations, Major General Onyema Nwachukwu, assures the public that due diligence will be applied to reach a logical conclusion. As the Nigerian Air Force continues to evolve its capabilities to defend the country against various threats, it faces a growing challenge that transcends the physical realm, cyber threat. To secure its national defense infrastructure and ensure its air power remains unchallenged, the Air Force must evolve its cybersecurity strategies alongside its air combat technology. The Chief of the Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, stated these at the Cybersecurity Awareness Training for NAF personnel. From communication networks to weapons control systems, these digital threats, often launched from remote corners of the globe, target critical military systems. In the quest to protect the nation's sovereignty, the Nigerian Air Force must prioritize bolstering its cybersecurity capabilities.
The integrity of our nation's defense systems, the security of our communications, and the sanctity of our data depend on the strength and resilience of our cybersecurity framework. For the Nigerian Air Force, which has distinguished itself as being more technologically advanced than other services, cybersecurity is not just an IT concern. It is the bedrock of our operational readiness and the key to mission success.
However, to maintain air superiority, the Air Force must also invest in cyber resilience, and according to Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, the Nigerian Air Force is adopting a multifaceted approach to guard against cyber attack. Olajide Bello. The civil-military engagement conceived by the Chief of Naval Staff Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala has further been achieved with the inauguration of blocks of classrooms constructed and renovated at the Major Mwazu Memorial Primary School, Aduno in Paikoro local government area of Niger State. The inauguration of the edifice, which is not only a ray of hope to the educational development of the community, is also expected to increase school enrollment, thereby addressing out-of-school syndrome. Fatima Usman reports.
The construction of 2 blocks of 5 classrooms, renovation of 3 blocks, offices, furniture supply, toilet facility, security post and perimeter fence, as well as solar-powered lighting units, is a dream come true for the more than 1,500 pupils of the Major Mwazu Memorial Primary School, Aduno, in Paikoro local government area of Niger State, who can now study in a more conducive environment. The gesture, which is an initiative of the Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala's Special Intervention Quick Impact Project Scheme, is an integral part of the Nigerian Navy Civil-Military Relation Program executed in honor of the Flag Officer Commanding Naval Training Command, Rear Admiral Istifanos Mwazu Alobara. Chief of Naval Staff and Niger State Governor were represented at the event.
It simply shows that the Nigerian Navy is alive with everybody, up to our grassroots. We are community-oriented service. We have over 15 other projects.
This is where we all started from. We are who we are today because of this school.
The project is expected to impact on the socio-economic well-being of the populace, aimed at winning their hearts and minds, as well as encourage critical support of communities in all military operations in the attainment of national security objectives. Fatima Usman, NTA News.
Now, late South African President Nelson Mandela once said, "History will judge us by the difference we make in the everyday life of children." It is World Children's Day today, celebrated on 20th November each year with the theme, Listen to the Future, Stand Up for Children's Rights. We have in the studio Speaker FCT Parliament Rahama Waziri to speak to the issue. Welcome to Nationwide.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, Rahama, in which areas do you receive gaps in amplifying children's voices and prioritizing their rights?
I believe that there are many, many different gaps, but the most prominent are in our education sector. In several parts of the world, children do not have access to good education either because of discrimination, violence, or poverty. Children not having access to education is a massive dent to anything they can be able to do in their future. There's also a problem with access to healthcare. With the increasing price of medicine, healthcare expenses, and what have you, parents are not able to give their children adequate healthcare, which is a massive, massive problem for all of us. Children around the world are exposed to violence, abuse, and exploitation, which comes in different forms like human trafficking, child labor, physical abuse, emotional abuse, and so much more. Children not being able to speak out about all these things that are happening to them and give their own say on it is another big gap that we need to bridge. Because without them telling us about what is going on with them, there's absolutely nothing we can do.
Okay, you highlighted some key issues like children not having access to education, health, and being exposed to violence. So with some of these key issues, what is the way forward?
I believe what we need to do is to provide affordable healthcare, affordable schooling, so that children of different classes can be able to access their basic needs, schooling, good health. Without them being at peak health, there is nothing else they can do. We need to create different types of organizations where children and youth can be able to express themselves freely, where they can talk about the problems they are encountering, where they can give solutions so that everybody can listen to them. Another thing we can always do is advocate and raise awareness. By advocating and raising awareness, children themselves and adults too, they can do that. By doing so, there is so much, many things are brought to light where the government can look at and they can change things for us.
All right, many thanks, Speaker FCT Parliament's Rahama Waziri, for your thoughts on World Children's Day on NTA.
Thank you.
Moving on, the Universal Basic Education Commission has organized a training and sensitization workshop for education secretaries across Nigeria's 774 local government areas to enhance their capacity for effective management of basic education at the grassroots level. This sensitization workshop is taking place concurrently in all the 6 geopolitical zones, highlighting the critical roles of education secretaries in implementing policies and managing resources to improve education outcomes. The training focuses on leadership, financial accountability, strategic planning and monitoring, as well as evaluation of programs.
For us, at the Ministry of Education, we are analyzing the critical issue at every level in the education sector, with the plan to review and come up with new initiative programs and strategies that will deliver results.
The administrative and professional heads of the local government education authorities and are primarily expected to ensure that basic education delivery will perform optimally.
Training is all about improving the system, and we all believe with this training a lot will be achieved. That is in improving teaching and learning in the basic education.
UBEC reaffirmed its commitment to ensuring quality, free and compulsory basic education while aligning local systems with global best practices and the Sustainable Development Goals. And the federal government has announced the dissolution of the Governing Council of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, Anambra State. This follows grave breaches of the laws governing the university in disregard for lawful directive from the Federal Ministry of Education. The decision comes after the chairman of the Governing Council unilaterally appointed a vice-chancellor who did not meet the minimum eligibility criteria for the position, which led to a breakdown of law and order within the university community, causing tension and disharmony. Minister of Education Dr. Tunji Alausa emphasized that urgent measures were needed to prevent further deterioration of the situation at the university as the illegal decision taken by the Governing Council posed a significant risk of further destabilizing the institution. In the meantime, the Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alausa, has also announced the reassigning of the Pro-Chancellors and Chairman of the Governing Council of the Federal Universities of Oye-Ekiti and Lokoja to enhance national cohesion and improve the governance of these institutions. Following an approval by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the swapping involves Senator Victor Ndomayagba, SEN, being reassigned as Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Governing Council of Federal University Oye-Ekiti, while Kayode Ojo will assume the role at the Federal University Lokoja. This change comes after it was noted that the current Pro-Chancellor of the Federal University Oye-Ekiti, Kayode Ojo, is an indigene of Ekiti State. As part of the ministry's commitment to promoting national integration and ensuring impartial oversight, it is the standard practice for Pro-Chancellors to be appointed from outside the state of the university. This ensures unbiased governance and supports the core values of diversity and national unity. All the changes are with immediate effect. And away from education now, cancer burden has remained a pressing concern for health authorities and relevant stakeholders as the cases are on a steady rise. Blessing Omeche Ebute in this report examines efforts of health authorities in Benue State in combating it.
Cancer has continued to be a leading cause of death, with Nigeria bearing a huge percentage of the burden. The high cancer disease burden is coupled with the significant out-of-pocket healthcare spending. Data specific to cancer statistics in Benue State is limited. However, a 7-year review of cervical cancer cases at the Benue State University Teaching Hospital, Makurdi, reveals a significant increase, which experts say is alarming. To curb this trend, the Benue State government is on course to establishing a one-stop cancer care center.
Promoting health through the life course is becoming more important than ever before, which explains in part why our administration is committed to increasing health expenditure, as evidenced in this year 2024 approved budget.
The establishment of the center will not only improve access to care, but enhance training and the overall oncology workforce in the state. It is expected that the center, when completed, will boost medical tourism of the state and address high incidences of late-stage diagnosis of cancer. In Makurdi, Blessing Omeche Ebute, NTA News.
And before we leave Makurdi, Blessing Omeche Ebute is standing by at the Benue State University Teaching Hospital, Makurdi, with the Chief Medical Director, Stephen Huande, to talk about the progress of work and benefits of the cancer center in the state. Hello, Blessing. You're on.
Thank you very much. In demonstrating government's continued efforts to improve healthcare infrastructure in Benue State, the government had invested 2 billion naira for the construction, establishment of a one-stop cancer center to be domiciled at the State University Teaching Hospital, Makurdi. The center will offer extensive cancer care, including diagnosis, treatment, and palliative care, making health care more accessible and affordable for the local population in Makurdi, Benue State, and Nigeria at large. I am at the construction site of the Cancer Center with the Chief Medical Director of Benue State University Teaching Hospital, Makurdi, Dr. Stephen Huande, who will give us a progress report of the work so far. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Blessing.
What is the progress so far in this place, and what's the duration of the project?
Okay, first is to say that cancer projects are nationwide now. The president himself has 6 cancer projects going on in 6 geopolitical zones. The governor of the state has adopted that approach to healthcare in Benue. I know cancer kills a lot of persons. So we had a summit in July, and the government pledged an initial amount of over 2 billion that's been released. And we've commenced, we've done the designs, we've done the safety measures, we have an implementation team, and this is the site, and work has commenced. And we are hoping that within 1 year we should start full service. All round cancer issues. No, cancer is not just radiotherapy, investigation, chemotherapy, radiotherapy, and comprehensive program all round. So all that you see here in this site is geared towards trying to develop the cancer center in Benue, which will serve not just Benue. Taraba is just here, Kogi is here, upper part of Cross River and Nasarawa. These surrounding states don't have any cancer center. So this will serve majority of the Middle Belt area. Thank you.
That has been Dr. Stephen Wande, the Chief Medical Director, Benue State University Teaching Hospital, giving us a progress report on the construction of the first ever one-stop cancer center in Benue State. Over now to Nationwide for the continuation of the news.
Many thanks, Blessing, for your inputs from marketing. Now let's head straight to the Center of Excellence, where Jennifer is standing by. Jennifer, good to see you. Jennifer is standing by. Good to see you.
Committee on Navy has expressed its eagerness to continuously support the development of equipment for the Nigerian Navy to meet its statutory responsibilities and to actualize their mandate of safeguarding the nation's maritime domain. This was after a 2-day working tour of facilities under the Western Naval Command in Lagos, led by Committee Chairman Yusuf Gagdi.
In keeping with the mandate of policing the nation's maritime assets, prevention of illegal bunkering, pipeline vandalism, and other forms of illegalities at sea, the Nigerian Navy is constantly upgrading its equipment and facilities to meet international standards. This, however, will not be possible without legislative support. The visit by the House Committee on Navy is therefore to ensure the Nigerian Navy not only meets but surpasses previous successes, identify areas of challenges, and give budgetary support where necessary. Committee members inspected facilities at the headquarters, Western Naval Command, Nigerian Navy Ships, Naval Dockyard Limited, Naval Air Base Ojo, Nigerian Navy Reference Hospital Ojo, and Special Boat Service, SBS, Camp, as well as ongoing projects. After the tour, the Chairman House Committee on the Nigerian Navy, Yusuf Gadi, expressed satisfaction at the quality of projects executed by the Nigerian Navy.
There is no single unit on that dockyard that is not functional. Both their chemical mixture laboratory, the electrical laboratory, the mechanical, everything here is functional. They mix down their chemical, they will start gold plating, it means therefore that you have leadership that, and in doing this, if you have someone that had been doing this to an institution.
Representative of the Flag Officer commanding Western Naval Command and the Admiral Superintendent Naval Dockyard Limited, Rear Admiral Abolaji Abolade Orederu, both appreciated the committee's visit and appealed for more legislative backing to execute constitutional mandates. The satisfactory report of the Committee on the Navy's conduct is to ensure that the good works and innovation continue in Nigerian Navy ships and establishments.
And to health, dangers inherent in the abuse of antibiotics is the crux of this year's World Antimicrobial Resistance Awareness Week. And as part of efforts to check this, medical experts from College of Medicine, University of Lagos, embarked on a street awareness campaign to enlighten the public on the proper use of antibiotics. Bolaji Akim completes the story.
Using antibiotics without a doctor's prescription is common among some Nigerians.
Now you should be aware.
To sensitize the public on dangers associated with abuse of antibiotics, experts from the College of Medicine, University of Lagos, embarked on a public awareness campaign. Organizer of the program emphasized the need to consult a doctor before taking any antibiotics because various ailments may have similar symptoms.
Some people, if it's headache, they will buy antibiotics. When they fall down, they will buy antibiotics. No, we are saying no to misuse of antibiotics. It can cause staying in the hospital for too long. And also economy aspects, because the infection that you are supposed to treat for 10,000, you will not be treating it for 100,000.
Apart from antimicrobial resistance, which occurs when microorganisms that cause infections in the body are not responding to the drugs designed to destroy them, indiscriminate use of antibiotics can also lead to other serious health issues.
When somebody develops a resistance to a particular and they are not able to treat that infection, of course, the person can just can die from the infection or disease.
The Awareness Week also featured the need to practice good hygiene so as to prevent infections. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
You've heard, you have to see a doctor before you take antibiotics. Now, those are the stories from Lagos. We'll take a break now. The news will continue with Sadia in Sokoto.
SportyBet sponsors coverage of the German Bundesliga.
In Sokoto. Zamfara State Government is committed to reviving and improving the state transport sector in view of its multiplier effect on socio-economic development of the people. Governor Dauda Lawal said this while flagging off the construction of an ultra-modern motor park in the state capital, Gusau. Jamil Ibrahim has more.
Zamfara State Executive Council recently approved the construction of a multi-billion naira ultra-modern motor park in Gusau, the state capital, as part of the urban renewal project of Governor Dauda Lawal's administration. As modalities for the execution of the contract are completed, Governor Lawal has flagged up the construction of the motor park located along Gusau Sokoto Road. The project includes ample parking spaces, rest areas for drivers, enhanced security installations, and a well-organized ticketing system to streamline operations. Governor Lawal says the proposed modern motor park is primarily aimed at enhancing security and improving the internally generated revenue of the state.
We anticipate that this project will create numerous job opportunities for people, particularly for those whose livelihood are directly connected to the activities of motor park.
Other essential components of the project include designated departure lines, a police outpost, a clinic, a fire brigade station, and a mosque, among other things.
We envision a facility that not only meets the transportation needs of our citizens, but also serves as a catalyst for trade and tourism, showcasing the rich potentials of Zamfara State.
The project is built to be completed within 12 months. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Adopting modern technology is critical in facilitating activities of the Special Marshals in complementing operations of the Federal Road Safety Corps Regular Marshal in the management of road traffic on Nigerian highways. This was the focus of the second-tier zonal engagement in Sokoto, organized in the wake of intensified Ember Month campaign by the Federal Road Safety Corps in Sokoto State. Lalatu Abdullahi reports.
This annual engagement brought together members to share ideas on how to utilize technology to deal with breach of traffic rules and regulations.
Make sure that we know some technical way that we can educate ourselves to make sure that we improved in reduction of accidents nationwide.
Zonal Commanding Officer Assistant Corps Marshal in charge of Sokoto, Zamfara and Kebbi states, Aliyu Bab, stated that the engagement will better equip the Corps with innovative ideas in preventing traffic violations, reduce road accident and response to emergencies. Governor Ahmed Aliyu Sokoto represented assured of more collaborative efforts in addressing auto crashes in Sokoto State. Sultanate Council, represented by District Head of Arkilla, Aliyu Hassan, commended stakeholders for their efforts in ensuring safety of commuters this year's campaign, undertaking a series of activities to educate drivers and other road users on best practices and the risks associated with unsafe road behaviors.
We ensure that people travel to attend to their needs and come back safely, because that is our aim, to minimize road traffic crash.
Key campaign areas include the dangers of overspeeding, overloading, drunk driving, non-use of seat belts, and adherence to traffic rules and regulations, among others. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And those are the news updates from this end. It's now back to Abuja for more on Nationwide.
Many thanks, Sadia. And moving on, the federal government has lifted all restrictions on posting of core members to just 4 key sectors of the economy, effective with the 2024 Batch C orientation course. Minister of Youth Development Ayodele Olawande gave this information in Abuja. Olayinka Ojo reports.
In 2012, the former Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Bolaji Abdullahi, directed that the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, should only post youth corps members to 4 key sectors of education, infrastructure, health, and agriculture. And the federal government, in its drive to reduce the rate of unemployment in the country, observed that while these areas are filled, some corps members for months do not have places for primary assignment. This policy has hindered other sectors of the economy from engaging the services of these vibrant graduate youths on national service ready to contribute to the social and economic development of the country. Hence, the directive by the Minister of Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande,
let the NYSC post the core members to what they study in school. Let them post them to the place. There is no barrier. If a core member studies banking, accounting, let them go to the bank or institutions that to go and learn. If we are pushing ourselves away from risk, everything is at risk. Even me talking now is at risk because I don't know what the picks out of this. So it's everything we must push in every aspect to make sure that this comes to reality.
Some Nigerians react to the recent pronouncement.
If you post somebody to a place he or she specializes, it will make the work easier and even aid him to know more.
Corpers should be posted to where they can be useful.
The directive is to take effect from the date of commencement of the 2024 Batch C orientation course. Olayinka Ojo.
Presented certificates of return to the winner of the November 16 Ondo State Governorship election, Lucky Ayedatiwa of the APC, and Deputy Governor-elect Olaide Wolabi Adelami. INEC National Commissioner Professor Kunle Ajayi presided over the brief ceremony at the INEC headquarters, Abuja.
I would like to thank every stakeholder that contributed towards the successful conduct of this election, from the voters for coming out to exercising their franchise, thereby reaffirming the principles of choice and accountability. The issuance of certificates of return is not merely a ceremonial act. It is a constitutional obligation under Section 72, subsection 1 of the Electoral Act, which mandates INEC to issue certificate of return to the elected governor and the elected deputy governor having conducted a free, fair, credible, and inclusive election.
The good people of Ondo State, the mandates you have just renewed via your huge votes across the 18 local government agencies, where we won convincingly. It has placed a burden on me to be able to serve you better than I have in the last 10 months.
With this presentation, Orphans Beneku, Lucky Ayedatiwa, the deputy, will be sworn in February 23rd, 2025. As a government at all levels continue to adopt different approaches for adequate food production towards food sufficiency, stakeholders in Owerri, Imo State say collaboration between the government and the private sector is key to achieving that target. Kate Oswan's report reveals strategies being adopted by some individuals towards enhancing food security in the country.
Food security, according to reports, is key in achieving the Sustainable Development Goal 2, which is zero hunger globally by 2030. Although insecurity in Nigeria, just like in some other countries of the world, is a challenge to food production, some stakeholders in Owerri have identified growing population as a major cause of food shortage.
If you are in my school, you must learn how to farm.
Collaboration in production of crops, especially those with comparative advantage in the state, as well as offering farmers improved input varieties and expertise knowledge, were also identified as vital in fast-tracking the attainment of food sufficiency in the country.
Training of farmers and helping them to undergo a certification for quality cassava seed production to be able to lead to food security.
I have close to 200 both youth, women and adults in my cooperative where I'm teaching them the best practices of agriculture.
Farmers in the state are hopeful that access to funding, availability and affordability of inputs will boost.
We now link up with Kate Aswan for more on this. Hello Kate, what's the update on the approach being adopted to enhance food production?
Thank you, Olajide. As you can see, obviously government at all levels are making sure to boost food production, and farmers in Imo State are not left out in that regard. Farmers are now joining more cooperatives where they are acquainted with trainings on the new ways and better ways of planting for higher yields. In the report that just finished, one of the experts said she has over 100 followers where she updates them on the new ways of planting. The idea is when they get the knowledge, they go back home, teach their community members. Also, farmers, the cooperative members are now joining force to ensure that they expand to plant more hectares to ensure food production in the next farming season. Students, farmers, students, parents are now involving their children, at least to help them embrace agriculture from the early stage. One more thing, innovation is way to go in this era, as people, due to land tenure system where you have a scarcity of land, farmers are encouraged to bag their crops, at least to have what they will eat in the next season.
Many thanks, Kate Asua, for your update on how the good people of the state are embracing agriculture. Many thanks for your input. Now let's head over to Ibadan, where Kemi is standing by. Kemi, take it up from here.
Olajide, and a warm welcome to Ibadan. Boosting of industrial and domestic capacities in the Nigerian power sector value chain will not only drive economic growth, but also enhance the sustainability of the sector. This is in line with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu stated these at a socio-economic summit in Ibadan. Rafia Animashan Badmus has the reports.
Oyo State, being one of the prominent states in Nigeria, has the potential of becoming the powerhouse of industry and innovation. Achieving this vision, however, requires addressing the critical challenge of energy poverty that hampers industrial and economic development. This formed the basis of the socio-economic summit with the theme Powering Oyo State for Industrialization and Economic Development, to explore actionable solutions and mobilize resources for sustainable energy development.
We know that this requires a lot of investment in infrastructure facilities that will cover the revamping of the national grid and decentralization of the grid across the regions, and if possible, to encourage states to have embedded power generation.
Without energy, without power, no country can survive. No country can produce enough food, no country can develop economically and socially.
Offer policy direction towards enhancing ease of power generation, ease of power distribution, and ease of power utilization at the best optimal cost.
It is important for the government to explore solutions to energy poverty, mobilize resources for sustainable energy development, while driving industrial growth and economic prosperity in Ibadan. Rafia Animashan Badmus, NTA News.
Members of the public have been advised to desist from illegal activities that could disrupt the ecosystem and endanger quality of human life. Conservator of the Old Oyo National Park, Teslim Karim, gave the advice while parading suspected illegal loggers arrested around the Betty area of the park. Adebola Agbaje tells us more.
The conservator of the park, Teslim Karim, addressing newsmen, said the 9 suspected encroachers whom were arrested for illegal felling of rosewood in the park's forest reserves will be prosecuted and sanctioned appropriately. The conservator said the National Park Service is working assiduously to prevent unauthorized activities in government forest reserves, which include illegal mining, hunting, fishing, and lodging. He commended the judiciary and other security agencies for their support in conserving the parks.
They are loggers. They log right inside the park. About 9 of them. Their ages ranges between 30 and 50. So they were arrested right inside the park, particularly in the Betty access of the park.
The suspects will be arraigned before the Awe Magistrate Court, Abuja local government area of Oyo State. From Oyo, Adebola Agbaje, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. Nationwide will continue with Fatima in Makurdi after this timeout. Do stay with us.
And thanks for joining us in Makurdi. The Benue State government has approved 75,000 naira minimum wage for state civil servants. Governor Hyacinth Alia disclosed this at a meeting with the Joint Public Service Negotiation Council 123 and other labor leaders in the state. Elias Itiav has the report.
It could be recalled that the Benue State government had inaugurated a technical committee to negotiate a 70,000 national minimum wage in October, and the outcome is a product of a series of engagements between government officials and organized labor. Governor Hyacinth Alia, who made a pronouncement of the 75,000 naira minimum wage for state civil servants, said it is in consideration of different demands and variables as well as the ability to pay. He further noted that the implementation of the new minimum wage will commence along with payment of salary arrears inherited from the past administration in the state.
Let me thank you and express my profound appreciation to the organized labor and other public servants in the state for your patience and commitment to ensuring that our system works.
Chairman of the Joint Public Service Negotiation Council 1, 2, and 3, Aloysius Umaja, and the Chairman, Nigerian Labour Congress, Benue State, Tenwaibe, who described the governor as a special gift to the state, pledged to sustain their support for the present administration due to its labor-friendly policies.
Today is not a time that we also begin to make other demands because we know you are accessible and you are there to attend to most of our challenges.
He has also signed the 30,000 naira adjustment or minimum wage that was on the ground. So I'm happy, and workers of Benue State are also happy.
The new minimum wage takes effect from November 2024. In Makurdi, Elias Itiaf, NTA News.
On security matters, the Nasarawa State Command of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, has apprehended an Army and NYSC imposters who have been defrauding unsuspected residents. Charity Ashiki reports that the suspects were paraded alongside a teacher for raping his foster daughter.
The suspect, Muhammad Isa, was caught with military uniform and parading himself as a military officer and was arrested alongside his accomplice, also a fake NYC member for defrauding people after faking alerts to purchase electrical equipments worth 1,218,000 naira in Doma Road, Lafia. Other suspects are Habudogo, a teacher who raped and impregnated his 18-year-old foster daughter, while 2 other suspects were arrested for theft and burgling of a shop also at Doma Road. The public relations officer of the command explained that the suspects were arrested by the joint patrol team and the gallant men of the command's rapid response team.
He was arrested by the joint patrol team of the gallant men of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Rapid Response Squad on the 12th of November 2024.
The suspects who confessed to the crimes pleads with the authorities to temper justice with mercy.
I started working with government in 1998. I have never, as a teacher, I have never one day approached a student or copper or any district. I want national state and the federal government of Nigeria to forgive me. I have never done such a mistake before. I'm a teacher.
The officer therefore assures residents of the command's readiness and commitment to secure the lives and property of law-abiding citizens, and therefore warns criminal elements nursing the idea of distracting and defrauding people in the state to desist from such acts. The suspects are to be arraigned in court after investigations. Charity Ashki, NTA News.
And that's it from Makudi. It's now back to Olajide in Abuja.
Many thanks, Fatima. And just before we go, the federal government says the ongoing reforms and interventions in the power sector are geared towards finding lasting solutions to challenges bedeviling the sector over the years. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu, in a message to a roundtable engagement with the media on the future of the sector, says from the ongoing efforts to address infrastructure gaps, enhance power generation and improve transmission networks, to the vital reforms in the distribution and the full implementation of the electricity market, the federal government is resolute to improve the power supply. Achieving this requires collaboration of industry players in the value chain and the customers, which stakeholders say should embrace the reforms and strengthen collaborations.
This gathering presents an invaluable opportunity for reflection, learning, and collaboration among the key players who shape Nigeria's power sector, particularly in our shared mission to provide safe, reliable, and sustainable electricity power supply to all Nigerians.
The proposed unbundling of the Transmission Company of Nigeria moves towards a bilateral trading market and the new power plant projects across the country. The power sector is fundamental to Nigeria's progress, and we are committed to championing change until we achieve sustainable solutions.
With the theme ending the talk, time for action, industry players call for more investment in the sector. And that's it on Nationwide. Many thanks for being a part of it. I am Olajide Bello.